And I just feel like let's get into some messages because I think that there's something beautiful to be found when I was going to say when you descend just as much as when you ascend and grounding and then ascension. And I feel like I'm grounding in new habits. Like I was thinking today, every moment is a choice and it's like a tally mark towards what life you would like to live when you are like in this weird limbo space, you know? And something as simple as master healing. Something as simple as I'm choosing not to smoke, I'm choosing not to go get a vape in my free time. I'm choosing to go to the gym in the morning to develop that habit versus, maybe sleeping in, you know? Neither are bad. I feel like it's interesting because the things that I'm choosing between aren't horrible. Like, okay, yes, I want to stop smoking my vape. I would deem that as one of my worst habits. You know what I'm saying? Something that I'm not proud of. But choosing to sleep in an extra hour before my alarm goes off, it's not like I'm sleeping in past, work or whatever. But not waking up so early, maybe sleeping a little bit more instead of going to the gym. Not the worst thing because I think I deserve rest, you know? But yeah, alchemical mutation. It's like being, I don't know. I just got distracted because I have a notification. You're choosing things, It's not the worst things to between that I'm choosing. You know what I'm saying? And this may be happening for you as well. Like whenever you're seeing this message, you may be thinking about the very small decisions, the habits that form through small decisions, which is very telling of the Virgo energy that we are in, as well as the Pisces energy that we're in. It's like this eclipse portal. And I feel like you're transmuting a lot and in observation of what needs to be transmuted. And it's very uncomfortable, you know? It's not something it feels like that is being pressed upon you by an outer source. It's very much you ascending, through descending to kind of see what are the roots of these habits, Are these roots healthy? Are they bearing the fruit that I would like at this point in life? If not, we need to do some pruning, you know? Soul child in Lady Nada. You're giving birth to a new version of you. And it's through compassion and understanding and like deep love for self that you're choosing. It feels like you're making better choices. Um, we're going to get more into that. The soul child definitely talks about literally this is that masculine and feminine coming together to birth something. I feel good about this, but then at the same time, I feel it in my body discomfort, you know? And I mean, going down that rabbit hole, we have the mother, maybe how the mother feels giving birth. It's like something that you've been waiting for a long time. You're excited. You're so looking forward to and have so many dreams and hopes and but then you're going through so much discomfort on a physical level, Yeah. You're like going through your own death and rebirth process as well. The mother, you know what I'm saying? You'll never be the same. Your life will never be the same after you have this child. But it's you, you know what I'm saying? It's you at the same time. So it feels like layers. Um Ooh, something split. Fourth house roots in the reverse, the pruning process, and then Gemini, I think. What thought processes slash choices, because Gemini also, connects to the Lover's card, which represents choice. How are you talking to yourself? What is the communication between both sides of the brain, right now? And what needs to be pruned? It feels like also I had a visitor this morning. When I did my last all subscribers reading, collective energy check in, there was a spider that I saw in my hallway and I scooped it up and I brought it outside. And I was like, thank you for, acknowledging that you're here, your presence, grandmother spider. Okay. But I don't want any spiders in my house. You know what I'm saying? I wake up this morning at early as fuck, same decision making process that we were talking about. And I decide I'm going to go to the gym early in the morning. And I do. And as soon as I walk outside my door, it's like the spider had created a web that blocks literally like from the little pillar outside of my house to my door. It was like a diagonal web built. And the spider was just sitting right there, right in the middle, looking at me. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, literally blocked me in. I'm like, am I not supposed to be going to the gym? Or, like, I don't know. It definitely was like, you have to look at me. I'm getting your attention. So I'm saying that because the choices, it's also like neuroplasticity is patterning in the brain through choices. And then we have Virgo, that's your day to day and grounding in something. What choices are you making that we have moon, soul, and blessings? Something's trying to make is something's trying to be birthed. This even reminds me of the womb. And then we also have the triple moon, Hecate as well, like spiders. Moon goddess, moon energy, you know. I feel like even with Lady Nada, it underneath here we have like these, it says master healing, but I interpret it like this, like she's looking up to something possibly in the Akashic records, or there's something written for you, something destined for you that's trying to come through, that's trying to be birthed through you. And to make room, I feel like you're making room, You're trying to make room. And we have Mars here as well in the reverse, but it could be, it depends on how holy in the deck. But it just feels you can't rush the process. Things are being revealed. I think that you may be questioning, like, am I doing the right things? I think so with the Ace of Pentacles. There's some kind of seed that is trying to be planted, but you're making room for it. I don't know if it's seed planted or being born, because I feel like that's two different stages. We have the Hermit here. The Hermit is the Virgin. So you mean like Virgin Mary vibes? Like you don't need to do anything. You don't need, if this is going to feel like immaculate conception. And I did another message that I didn't post. It's in my camera roll. I just recorded it because I didn't go live. But literally, it was like the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Cups, and then the Lovers, I think. The Lovers. And I was like, that feels like immaculate conception. There's something happening in this season and this eclipse portal where Something will be born, but not because of something physical that you did. It's the choices that you're making that obviously lead to different choices that like decisions that are choices and decisions. I think you're deciding upon something. Your choices are reflecting a decision. Multiple small choices are reflecting a big decision. And it is leading to some kind of immaculate conception through change of perspective. The Tower in reverse, the Seven of Swords in reverse. It's an internal tower. Internal tower that reveals what was hidden. Page of Swords. It's in the small choices that reflect the big decision that reveal how you kept yourself stuck. It's an internal tower, internal implosion, internal. We have the Page of Swords and the Seven of Swords. That's 8 swords. That's internal, keeping yourself stuck. But then when we have the Tower in reverse, it's, like, again, this is all an internal process. But when we have this Page of Swords here, we have either a messenger or we have some kind of curiosity or willingness to learn about what kept you stuck, That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, the Six of Wands in reverse from Gemini, the Five of Pentacles. Ooh, that's not great energy. Hmm. I feel like with this, there's some kind of isolation that's happening so that you can understand the conversations that are happening within you, but also that may be reflected outside of you. Um, and why maybe you kept attracting something that affirmed some kind of root belief that led to feeling like abandoned or left out or othered, in some way. But it showed up in many ways, I feel like. But it's like not what you wanted, but it was what you were choosing. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it's like confusing me because it's like this is not what you want, but you keep choosing it. So clearly it's some kind of like program, It's not what you want. It's not fair, even with the Page of Pentacles in reverse and the Five of Pentacles, that Six of Pentacles. That should be something that's like an exchange back and forth, But with the Six of Wands, it's not. And it feels like it perpetuates something of feeling left out or feeling like what in lack or, you know, but it's like it's through these choices. And I feel like with the Three of Cups in reverse, and clarify Three of Cups in reverse. Yeah, Four of Cups. Oliver FOMO? Oliver FOMO of like worrying about what other people are doing without you. That's what it's coming out as. Is this wanting to stay relevant? Is this, you know, wanting to create something with someone. Yeah, 8 of Pentacles in reverse. It's like you could not master this level, this next thing, because you couldn't, like, you wanted collaboration, you wanted some kind of recognition or exchange. This may be choices in love specifically, and that's why I feel like they're leading you towards immaculate conception, creating something on your own. You have to learn how to ground something on your own through the choices that you make that reflect one big decision. Ooh, there was one card that was flipped this way. Yes, the programming, the Hierophant in reverse. This may be related to deeper programming than what I'm even thinking. What I was thinking was like familial patterning. But this may even be bigger, like societal programming, religious programming, where, and when I'm saying like Virgin Mary, Immaculate Conception, that has that twang to it. But it feels like, I don't know, name soul, 10 of Pentacles, the Death card in reverse. This upright reverse. Ooh, the Magician in reverse. Definitely familial patterning could also be related to religious programming within the familial line. Something about communal is coming through. And we have the King of Pentacles landing right on the Five of Pentacles. This could have to do with the masculine side of the line. Divine masculine showing up in the physical, but on a soul, but is connected to the soul level. Um, this is so interesting. It feels very opposite, but King of Pentacles is Virgo energy as well. It's double Taurus energy here as well with the Hierophant and the King of Pentacles with the Hierophant in reverse. The Hierophant in reverse is like undoing some values related to needing a group, maybe needing to feel safe communally, because the root, the root is being, the pruning of the roots. Um, Sorry, we're clearly working through this together. Uh, Pruning of the roots, because the root chakra is connected to community and safety and providing safety for yourself, but also being a part of a community. If there's something about FOMO and working together, there's something around the choices and the decisions that you've made or that were programmed within you that have to do with community that actually do not reflect the values that would lead you to safety. So there's some kind of immaculate conception that's happening where you are experiencing the divine protection and guidance of like the divine masculine. It's showing up in your soul blueprint, but it's not because you're adhering to the values of the community around you. It's something that's happening within you because yes, the Four of Wands, it's that internal union. if you looked outside of yourself, I feel like the state of the collective is not reflective of community that truly keeps one safe. And I think that the programming is that we need to rely on society to keep oneself safe. How does this relate to habits and choices? Healing, temperance, Five of Cups, the Eight of Cups in reverse, the Seven of Cups. Oh, you may be surrounded by people at the moment, or, the collective consciousness where it's at is in a deep grieving. And so this feels like dissociation. You're trying not to leave behind something, but you know that this something is not good for you. And it's also like, well, then where do I go? That's the double energy. This is about sovereignty. And this is why the habits and the choices reflect your will, your willingness to create something or to be on your own. This is getting past that fear of being on your own, of being a lone wolf, you know? It's the blessings. Ooh, the Nine of Swords. And the Four of Swords. Okay. The blessings reside in your mind, or your ability to prune your mind and make different choices that reflect a major decision to live a worry-free, fear-free life. Yeah, the Emperor, the Seven of Wands. This is your will. This is your divine will. This is your divine masculine. This is your right, your birthright to lead and live a life that is not drenched in fear. The Queen of Cups. In order to protect your peace, to protect your creativity, to protect your divine feminine. The Judgment card. Oh, that's what Spirit is asking you to do, is to make decisions that reflect your faith and use your divine will, that divine masculine will, to create your life, to make choices that are going to help shed this layer of the ego that relates to FOMO, fear of missing out, fear of not being within community, fear of not aligning with people, not being safe, because the community that's available right now, the collective consciousness, you're the leader of the pack. You're actually within. They're trying to get you to rise into that divine masculine energy and know that you're safe and you're protected in doing this. But you're a leader of the pack. And you have to break through this layer of the ego that keeps you blocked by that belief system. Yeah, the High Priestess in reverse, the Queen of Swords in reverse, and the Knight of Wands. Yes. It's when you integrate that High Priestess energy and the Queen of Swords energy, the boundaries, when you integrate that in the upright, you can stop experiencing the fight or flight feeling, the Knight of Wands. having something coming in and out, in and out, in and out. It feels unstable. You'll never be able to actually turn the wheel and fully ground into this new reality that you're trying to create if you have this in and out energy, or you're being indecisive, with the 10 of Wands. It's like you can't turn the wheel. It's like that is the power steering ain't there. You know what I'm saying? And they're saying you have to choose to heal. Choose to heal by tapping into that divine will. The people that you may be concerned about not connecting with, or um having FOMO, or the things that spirit is trying to prune in your life. If you have FOMO about those things, it's going to perpetuate the cycle of not receiving what you actually deserve. The spirit is saying be patient, be willing to wait for what you actually deserve, to align with what you actually deserve. Make a decision, look forward, and don't look back, because we have this strong independence in the future. We have the Nine of Wands, Two of Swords in reverse, Hangman in reverse, and the Nine of Pentacles. Look forward, make a decision, and don't look back. Because when you look back, it just leads to stagnancy, indecision, FOMO, all of these things. When Spirit is saying there's nothing but beautiful harvest and independence and sovereignty moving forward. Yes. And then we have the Knight of Cups and the Hermit in reverse. There's something beautiful to be found when you can train the mind to stop looking outside of yourself and to really get into a beautiful flow, in this a flow, but also appreciation of this process that you're going through. It's not just this process, but it's like just really being grateful. You know what I'm saying? Like getting yourself into the energy of receiving something new is going to take some reprogramming, some conscious decision making to, like, for instance, something as small as I'm not going to go get the vape. I'm going to go sit at the park and take deep healing breaths of fresh air instead of hitting the vape. I can still go outside. I can still, it's something like that where you're reprogramming yourself, even though, yeah, it may not provide you the same type of pleasure with the Nine of Cups in reverse, maybe quick pleasures and things like that. But Spirit is saying it's because of that old programming that kept you and your mind stuck in one old chapter that's closing out. As we started the reading with, it's this internal implosion of the old thought patterns that are related to an old way of being. We have the Fool, that's the new baby. That's the Aries energy. So, yeah, the Moon in reverse. It's revealing what's been happening in the subconscious that have kept, like, small habits that have kept you in the same timeline. And I feel like there has been a process that has happened for a while now, where Spirit has been taking things away from you, different people, connections. You might have moved, all these things. I definitely went through all of that, where I had my whole life turned upside down in the past couple of years, And Now it's just me and my habits that keep me back. It's not people that reflected those habits back to me or reflected my shadow back to me that I had to integrate or none of those things. It's literally just me and me. You know what I'm saying? And so now comes the pruning of your own mind, you know? Okay, let me see. Let me get an oracle card to wrap up the message. Hmm. Let's get into Mary Magdalene since we're talking about divine, you know, conception and all those things. Ugh, okay. Been a while since I've used this deck. Presence. I exist intensely. Gotta be present. You gotta eat. None of these habits can help you escape. You can't escape yourself. Wherever you go, there you are, you know? The true human. I'm fully human and I'm fully divine. And then the heart. I carry a cathedral within me and it says love never ends. I think I stated the beginning of the reading, I said it feels like a battle of wills of your lower self and your higher self. You know, the divinity within you and your humanness and your like your primal addictive, you know, like the patterns that live within the body, that live within the brain. But like you have access to higher knowledge through the soul and through accessing your heart space that you're able to choose something different, you know, because it feels different to you now because you're going through this transformation. Bottom of the deck, the cross. I am anchored in love. Faith, hope, love, endure. We're going to look at, please. And now we're going to close it out. The true human. Christ says in Mary's gospel, be on your guard so that no one deceives you by saying, look over here, look over there. For the child of the true humanity exists within you. The phrase child of true humanity, so child, comes from the Greek word anthropos. And anthropos means more literally fully human and fully divine. So a true human being in the Gospel of Mary is a paradoxical mix of a limited mortal self, the ego, and an expansive eternal soul, both equally. The goal is not to transcend the body or to suppress the seven powers of the ego. Well, that's a good point to make. The point is to bring awareness to the full spectrum of what it means to be human so that we can make choices about our actions. We can practice a self emptying love that allows us to release the ego's grasp of our attention and act only once love, not the ego, is leading us. We can listen to Christ's directive to follow the child of true humanity within us. There's no one outside of us that can do the work for us. We have to continue to return inward to the heart to treasure that exists within. The treasure that exists within. We have to do the work of remembering that we are not just this ego that often compels us to act in ways we can barely recognize. With mercy in our own humanity, we can remember that we are anthropos. We are meant to be human. We are meant to feel all these difficult and derailing powers. We are also fully divine. We are also a soul of love. We are also capable of bringing love to where it has never been before. We are visionaries and sources of unlimited light. We have the unique purpose and opportunity to be both a voice for the voiceless here on earth and to act as the bridge between this world and the next. The child of true humanity exists within us, each and every one of us. No one outside of us can ever awaken us to this truth. We must turn inward and let love directly be our guide. The question is, what does it feel like to remember that I am fully human and fully divine? Now we're going to go into the heart. That definitely touches on what we were talking about. I feel like I need to lay down after this. For real. Oh, the back and forth has been crazy. I'm telling you, I've been feeling the pull of like definitely human versus like my higher self type of thing. It's exhausting. I feel exhausted, like um I carry a cathedral within me. I can vividly remember the first time I walked into Mary Magdalene's stunning basilica, I think. Basilica. In the French village of Saint Maximin la Saint Baume. That's a whole mouthful. It's as if some part of me never left. It's as if some part of me is still wordlessly staring up at its high vaulted ceiling with rays of otherworldly light flooding in from stained glass windows. Like I said, I need a nap. Um, what I've come to understand is that these breathtaking and miraculous cathedrals, these churches, mosques, temples, synagogues, and sanctuaries the world over are meant to reflect the majesty and divinity of what we can also contain within us. Oh, that's beautiful. One is not meant to replace the other, but rather reflect and remind us of what exists first and foremost in the human heart. As we know too well, sanctuaries can burn and be destroyed, but the human heart contains the most significant force we can ever experience in life. The power of returning to love. The Gospel of Mary refers to the divine as simply the good, and the passages that confirm Mary Magdalene as a spiritual leader among the apostles came from Mary 5:9. When Mary had said these things, she turned their hearts toward the good. Christ's disciples are terrified of the crucifixion. They fear for their own lives. They are now persecuted by the Roman Empire and will be executed if caught. Mary tenderly embraces each one of them. She calls them brothers and sisters, compassionately reminding them that they are a community, a family, and she reminds them that Christ's grace remains among them, sheltering them. She she suggests that instead of fearing what might happen next, they can praise Christ for unifying them. This presence of love that Mary becomes and remains in the face of terror demonstrates the transformation she has undergone because of Christ. She has entered the cathedral of her very own human heart so that she can share the vast love it contains to everyone around her. She becomes the most powerful force we can ever be for ourselves and others. She becomes the presence of love, which is the good within each one of us. And the question for this card is, what does it feel like to know that I can carry the presence of love within me? I feel like this is beautiful that they both came out this way because there was kind of like a part in the middle of the message where it's advised to not feel like this FOMO feeling or lack of community. She said something about community in this past card where one community, the disciples were fearful of their own death that they saw with happen to Christ. And so they had fear within them. And she reminded them through the heart space, because that's the power of Mary Magdalene is all connected to the heart. And that deep, divine feminine wisdom. And she reminded them that they're all a part of one family. So even you being at a stage where you have to be alone, Spirit is saying don't compromise your values and your beliefs and don't conform to making old choices because of FOMO. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to be included in some kind of community that doesn't even reflect the true values that you hold, you know? Especially as you're developing into a new person, I find that it's interesting when you meet people in the middle space. I feel like there's one or two situations that can happen. They they are it's like a test, you know what I'm saying? And I don't always like to use those words, but you're gonna meet people that may reflect back to an older, more comfortable way of doing things. And they may be new people, so it's like it's confusing because you're like, "Oh, I met somebody new, blah blah blah," but they reflect an old way of being. Or you meet somebody that puts you on the crossroads. I mean, they both put you on the crossroads. They put you on the crossroads of like developing into a new version of yourself. Um, I feel like a lot of times you may not even meet the person that, especially if you're the leader, you may usually act as that person. But I feel like when you're at the leading edge, you have to have faith and hope and belief that there's something better than settling, essentially. Even though I really well, I would say I loved, because I'm not currently doing it and I've stopped my vape and the times that I have shared, you know what I'm saying? Staying up late, chopping it up with my friends on the phone outside, under the stars, you know what I'm saying? And it's not just about vape, like anybody that smokes. It's like bonding time, You make a lot of friends when you're a smoker, when you just go outside and you smoke, you know what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about, is like false sense of community, where I think that you have to have faith, myself included, that I will develop different habits that attract different types of people. I will develop into a better person because my will is I'm strengthening my willpower. Um I will have a stronger body. I'm choosing new habits. I'm being able to get up earlier because I'm not staying up on the phone bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm able to go to the gym. I'm going to have a healthier body. I'm whatever, all of the things. And so it's like having faith and trust that you can change and that it's worth the change. It's worth the I want to say it's worth the back and forth. That's just part of the process, I think, initially, but eventually it will be a solidified decision. It'll just be a part of who you are. I think this can be particularly difficult if you're somebody that usually powers through change. This is a phase of life that asks for your devotion, not for this in and out energy where everything happens fast. These are solidified decisions that are being made and reflected by the choices, the small choices that you make in your life that develop habits. So it's a daily thing. It's showing up daily. It's like being in a committed relationship. You choose your partner daily, you know? And that's what this is, immaculate conception. You choose yourself daily and a new version of you is born. So I hope that resonates and that helps somebody. It definitely helped me because I have been doing the back and forth, but this is providing more clarity. And I appreciate you for being here in the paid membership portal. And even when you see this, if you see this way later and you are a member months from now, from when I recorded this, I still appreciate you. And thank you for being here on this journey with me. Have a blessed day.